Hello, everyone. We're live, I guess. Let me know if you can hear me and see me well. If you're watching this recorded, skip about 10 minutes. I'm usually a little earlier than usual. Well, I'm usually early, excuse me, and just chatting to the people waiting and saying hello. Hi, O Silver says, how was Rome? It was great. We had a really good time. We did a lot of sightseeing. Yeah, couldn't have been better, actually. Yeah, Rudy's here, as you can see. Um, let's see now. Let me just move some things around here. So yeah, the title of the live stream tonight is Sanctions Drive Russia to Gold as Holdings hit record 31.5% of total reserves. We're going to quickly look at that and we're going to look at some other things. And yeah, I'll try to take as many questions as possible. As the channel is growing, it's hard to keep track of all the comments all the time. And it's a good time to do that. I'm going to be on my own today. Clive is away, and yeah, I haven't really been in touch lately with Rafi. I hope he's fine. I will try to get him on, but I think he's got other worries at the moment, unfortunately. Justin Taylor's here, Endurorama, Zabinator, Dutch Libertarian. Ponzi's here, Urban Sombrero. I saw Olivier Leroy is here also from Paris. Nice to see people from everywhere on the channel. R. Elka says he's still reading The Price of Time by Edward Chancellor and The Great Depression Diary. Darren Smith says, I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for bringing us this great live stream once again. Oh, you're welcome. And I thank all of you for having an interest in what I have to say. So that too. Paul Weens from Southern Manitoba. Are you going to do a live stream with Clive in Geneva? Clive is not on tonight. He's gone away uh, for the week, so he's not going to be coming on. Dutchly return. Did you go to Piazza del Capitolio? Uh, Let me have a look. We went Piazza del Capi Campidoglio. Um, yeah, we did. That's where the yeah, we did go there. Um, yeah, we were near there, and we went everywhere really. We That's the thing about Rome. You can do a lot of walking. You don't need to take a cab. We only took a cab once. It was on my birthday, the night we went out for dinner. It was pouring with rain, and we could have walked there, but we would have gotten wet even with an umbrella. And Durama, do you think Russia will be stockpiling silver for reserves or industrial metal use? Um, yeah, it's a good question. The I spoke about that a couple of weeks ago because I who was it? It was the Dutch guy, William Middelkoop. He posted the story on X, and I caught on to it. And I think they're doing like 500 million. I'm not sure if it's every month of silver, platinum, and palladium, and it's the Ministry of Finance. So I would say it's more for reserves than industrial metal use. Did you throw three coins? Yeah, I did. The Trevi Fountain. Um, Jack McNulty, silver, very undervalued. Yeah, of course it is. It should be more like well, at least 80 to 1 versus gold. And right now I don't think it is. It's still a little bit above that level. Dutch Libertarian Julius Caesar did stand every morning in the middle of the square in his time. How much prosciutto? I think I had the prosciutto with the starter with the melon. Yeah. Yeah, the food is great in Italy because it's all very organic, not processed at all, and you find that you can eat well and yeah, you don't get full. Even the pizza. Had a pizza there too. And Durarama, thank you for your super chat. The We went to a couple of art galleries, which is something I've never done that much before. My wife is an artist. She likes the stuff, and it's beautiful, all the art there. And also the Vatican museums, the old popes, the Renaissance popes, they bought a lot of art. I guess they got a lot of money from indulgences. So, but at least they spent it on something that is still there and is beautiful. Chris Weinert says 15 to 1 might be sooner than you think. Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. That's 15 to 1 gold to silver ratio. Over here, I did take a few coins to Rome and brought them back. It's not a problem going through security. I didn't need to use them. A few sovereigns. One thing I found out, if you sell gold, I went to near the hotel. There were a few places where you could sell gold, like coin shops. One of them said that they could only pay cash up to 500 euros, and if you sold more than 500 worth, they'd have to send it to your bank account. And I don't have a bank account in Italy, and you can't really open one. But then they gave me the name of another place that will do it for you. So there's always ways around it. Um, yeah, so there you go. Jake's Custom Parts, thank you for your super chat. A biscuit treat for Rudy. Yeah, there's Rudy. Did you go see Metallica in Rome? Uh, what's Metallica? Is that like some kind of uh is that I'm not sure what that is. No, we didn't go. I don't know what Metallica is. Maybe you could let me know, but we didn't see Metallica, whatever it is. Um, Pablo Pina says this is the last pope. Oh, yeah, there is a prophecy, I think, that says that this is the last pope, and he's the first Jesuit pope as well. The Altar of Peace? No, I don't think we went there. So we went to the Castel Angelo, the big round fort. We went to did the Vatican Museum, the Sistine Chapel in St. Peter's. What else did we do? We went up to the Vittorio Emanuele monument for the founding father of Italy. We went up the Capitoline Hill. We walked around the Forum, the Colosseum. We went to the Borghese Gallery. We went to the Pantheon. That was really interesting. And we went also to the another gallery called Doria Panfili. And all these galleries, the Borghese, the Doria Panfili, these are families that have had popes, and they're still around, popes in the Middle Ages and Renaissance. So there's some powerful families still around there, and they have a lot of wealth in art. And there's a law that's a ancient law that some families use. They used to buy all these works of arts, and uh, they will use made sure that it could never be sold by their families. So they're still around, and it's so expensive to upkeep it. So they open like these galleries in these palazzos so that they can upkeep all the art, or else because they can't sell it. Oh, Donna Roberts says rock band Metallica. It's a rock band. No, I'm not really into that. Pablo Pina and Mario went to the Vatican. They say the Antichrist is at the Vatican. I was scared. Don't tell me. Uh, no, I can. I didn't hear about that connection between Vatican, BlackRock, and Vanguard. No, but I've made several videos about the fact that the Vatican Central Bank and the Treasury, they've worked with the Federal Reserve back in the 70s to in the gold market. Paul Volcker was president of the New York Fed, and there's even correspondence which I've spoken about between the one of the guys at the central bank in the Vatican with Paul Volcker, who was president, and they sold the Vatican gold to drive the price lower back in 1975. But of course, they succeeded for a few months, but then gold went from just above 100 to almost 900. Pat Laughter, yes, I'm well, thank you. Hope you're well as well. Did you see the Appian Way? No, we didn't get to the Appian Way. Favorite uh music group? I don't really have a favorite music group. I just like different songs. I'm not really into that. Yeah, I mean, when I was at university, I think Simple Minds was the big group. That was in the 80s. Just shows how old I am. Is silver going to break out next week? Well, who knows? Your take on Bitcoins is still going strong. I don't follow Bitcoin. Um, yeah, I'm not interested in Bitcoin, to be honest. And Mick says he's been to Rome, but have you ever been to Athens? Yeah, I have been to Athens, but I think the last time was when I was yeah, I was like 18 or something. So, and we did go touring with my parents, but I remember going up the Parthenon, but yeah, I haven't been there in a long time. This is an old mug with Billy, and it says, Billy says, snore on and keep stacking. And this was even before the Silver Squeeze movement. I had this mug made. I'm not selling stuff in the Teespring store anymore, but some of you might still have that. I find that Teespring now, when you make a mug, it doesn't last anymore. The quality is really bad. This is before it went bad. It's still there, but the newer ones, you buy something and it just comes off very quickly. Full of Hope says the Vatican recalled all physical gold from around the world back to Rome. Uh, well, I think that's if they, I don't know. I have, I don't have information on that, but if they did that, I think that's a clever thing to do, not to leave it elsewhere. And talking about gold and repatriating it, well, the title of the live stream tonight is Sanctions Drive Russia to Gold as holdings hit record 31.5% of total reserves. And it makes sense, this 31.5%, because the this unit monetary mechanism that they're supposedly working on uh, with BRICS, that's supposed to have a 40% holding. So you can work out here that Russia's still going to keep buying gold because they're 8.5% short of 40%. So here's the story. It's actually from the Jerusalem Post. Russia's gold holdings hit historic high, now 31.5% of total reserves. Russia's gold reserves have surged to a record-breaking 31% of its assets, marking a bold move amid global tensions and sanctions as the nation strengthens its economic defenses with gold. Uh, and it makes sense, of course. And even if we hadn't had, I guess if we hadn't had the Ukraine conflict, well, that started in 2014, of course, but the escalation that we had in February 2022, this might have, they might not have done this as quickly, and we might not even be where we are in terms of the price. But I think it's a major reason why they're doing it is because the West basically froze $300 billion worth of Russian fiat currency assets, i.e., mostly European bonds, some treasuries, and they're even using the coupon that they get. They're giving it to the Ukraine. So this is the biggest mistake I think that the West, and especially the United States, has ever made. This is definitely going to be seen in the future when people look back as yeah, the trigger for the end of dollar dominance and the comeback of gold. So there you go. In a dramatic shift in its central bank investment strategy, Russia has ramped up its gold reserves to restore historic highs, defying Western sanctions and reinforcing its economic fortress. As of October 1st, Russia's monetary gold reserves have surged by 10.95 billion, a staggering 5.8% increase, reaching an unprecedented, well, almost 200 billion. So, yeah, they still have quite a bit to buy. I would say another almost 20 billion of gold to buy. And it depends also on how many fiat reserves they get. If it keeps growing a lot, they might need to get even more gold to make sure they keep it at 40%. Um, why is this important for us? We're not central banks. Well, I think it's important for us because it shows that a country like Russia, and I'm not defending Russia, I'm just looking purely at how they defend their sovereignty. They do it with gold. You can't do it with fiat currency. And you do it by keeping those reserves at home. You might want to keep some of it with a friendly country to you, maybe like China, but I don't think they do. So it's the same thing for us as individuals, I would say. Of course, we can't buy it as much as Russia, but it's the same principle, and that's what I've been trying to warn people and tell people that you have a lot more uh, sovereignty and independence. And yeah, you don't have to be dependent on the banks. And we're gonna touch upon the banks because I want to talk about why we can't trust banks. It's not that every banker and everyone that works in a bank is inherently bad. I think it's because the system is bad, and banks are not real banks anymore. And we're gonna come to that in a minute. First, I'm gonna thank Indy for his super chat, and he says thumbs up, please. Thank you, Indy. So I'll take some of your questions um, right now, and then I'm going to talk about the banks because there's an interesting uh, post on X by Judy Shelton about what the Fed's been doing. Arson Fire. Do you believe the Labor government will increase capital gains tax in the budget, and how will it affect gold and silver? Well, I mean, there is a lot of speculation. They probably will increase capital gains tax. They will align it with the income tax. People who pay a higher rate of 45%, they'll probably pay 45% capital gains tax, maybe a little less. How it affect gold and silver? Well, physical gold and silver, like coins of the realm, i.e., sovereigns and Britannias, they won't be affected because they're exempt from capital gains tax. And I haven't heard anything about them changing that, even though they could. But I don't think they will because coins of the realm are legal tender, and you can't really tax legal tender. It's like taxing money in your bank account. So, yeah, it won't affect. It will affect, of course, um, if you hold gold, like gold bars, if you hold GLD ETFs outside an ISA, and if you hold Krugerrands, yeah, if you hold anything but coins of the realm, it will affect you because they will be liable to capital gains tax. Joshua Porter, my opinion on osmium. I'm sorry, I don't have one. I'm not too familiar. It's a metal, isn't it? I haven't looked into it. DF, aside from physical gold, what's safe for gold ETF, gold cover call ETF? Uh, the only gold really that's gold is physical. ETF is just a promise, and I wouldn't trust it as far as I could throw it. Covered calls, I mean, call is just the derivatives. Uh, Stock of gold producers, that's different. I mean, that exposes you to the gold price, but it's like investing in the business. And of course, if go it should be leveraged because uh, if the gold price goes up $100 and let's say a gold company doubles its profits, the price of the stock should double. But if you have physical gold, it will only go up, let's say, 4%, the physical. So yeah, the investing in gold miners and silver miners is a leverage way to have exposure to gold and silver, but it's not the same as having a physical gold and silver. And one of the reasons I think personally that I have physical gold and silver is as an insurance against the financial system. It's being outside the system and having no counterparty risk. Yes, I do have the miners, and you have to work out what kind of risk you want to take with your savings and how much. of your savings you want to put into the miners, and everyone will have a different weighting, of course. Road tested. If you're a Brit, are you thinking of leaving the UK? Well, I've been here since 1992. Uh, I don't have, my wife is British. I have Italian passport and Brazilian passport. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of talk about leaving the UK, but where do you go? Is anywhere any better? Uh, do I want to move to Florida and face a hurricane every year or so? Do I want to move? Uh, I don't know. Sometimes better the devil you know. And yes, there's a lot of coverage of what's going on in the UK. The negative part, but who knows? We do think about it, but it's a big move. And yeah, and there's the old saying, the grass is always greener. And I think, yeah, this current government and the previous government, they're driving, they're really destroying the economy, and they're going to keep doing it. But it doesn't mean to say that you can't profit from it. And that's one of the reasons why I've been in the precious metal space, because I think it's going to be reflected in precious metals prices, and it already is. Pino Kunchner, yeah, I have a Italian and a Brazilian passport, but no, I'm not even sure I want to go to Brazil. I have family in Switzerland as well, so I want to stay close to Europe. But who knows? Who knows? We're happy where we are. I think as long as you're happy, you'll be happy anywhere. That's the other thing. Paul Sagbakken moved from Norway 3 years ago, away from Norway. Um, Forbidden Planet. Have you met the Beard Meats Food guy? I hear he's from England. Beard Meats. No, I haven't. Never heard of him. I think governments all around the world are, yeah, they're not really what we think. I don't trust governments anywhere. So I might as well stay somewhere where I know the system. Yeah, I don't trust them anywhere. Yeah, that William, that was a good one from Shrub, George W. Bush. How much is a or how many is a how much is a Brazilian? Yeah. What do you one species? What do you think of the tier one classification of gold and silver? I'm not sure silver is being used for tier one asset calculations. And the tier one is for the equity of a bank, and you can use gold as an asset that's used to calculate tier one equity classification. Yes, the Basel III brought that up a couple of years ago. That's probably helped gold quite a bit, but I think the major reason gold has been going up is because of all the central bank buying since 2022, and of course, not from the West, but from the emerging markets or global South countries, because they're trying to diversify away from the dollar, because they've seen what the West can do to your um dollar or euro reserves, which are mostly held in treasury bonds and European government bonds. So what's the option? Well, it's real money, i.e. gold. They can't take your gold unless they invade your country like the Nazis did. back in the 30s. And one of the first things they did when they invaded Czechoslovakia was go to the central bank and take all their gold. And they also made the BIS transfer all the Czech gold to the German BIS account at the Bank of England. So that's why you need to probably have it at home as well. Over here, what's going on in mid 2025 with BIS and the possibility of bank bail-ins? I'm not sure what's going on with the BIS. I haven't heard of anything, but I do know that the rules and the law is already in place if there's a banking crisis for bail-ins, even though uh, last year the U.S. Treasury didn't use bail-ins. They bailed out a lot of depositors, but who knows? Um, and talking about banks and bail-ins, the reason why, and I'm going to bring this up now, uh, it's a tweet or a post from Judy Shelton. Let's see. Yeah, and this was from yesterday, I think. Yeah. The scandal is not just that the banks did not pass on onto their depositors the high interest rates they're getting from the Fed to let money sit idle in cash accounts. It is that the Fed was paying them to keep that money from being loaned to the real economy. The Fed created the liquidity to bail out government deficit spending, then paid banks not to lend out what they received from selling treasury debt to the Fed. That is the source of those windfall profits to the banks, and it came out of future remittances to treasury, i.e., taxpayer funds. Since March 2022, the Fed has paid banks $500 billion to prevent financial resources from supporting private sector economic activity. This is disgusting. Congress should get involved as the Constitution gives them the authority to regulate money, which they outsource to the Federal Reserve as an independent agency. It's time to have a hearing on this matter and bring the situation to light. The Fed's practice of paying interest on the reserve balance of commercial banks should end. And so here's the story. Um, yeah. Well, it's actually 1 trillion in windfalls. And the Bank of England did the same. The banks here did the same. Um, I mean, we got rates raised to the Bank of England raised rates, their deposit rates for banks, the base rate over 5%. And the highest savings rate I got from NatWest, my bank, was like 1.75%. And that's one of the reasons why I boycott banks. I don't have that much balance with banks. And that's why I put my savings into gold and silver because I don't want to subsidize these people. Uh, and I think it is pretty disgusting, as Judy Shelton says. Uh, and why is that? Well, because in 2008, um, we bailed them out, these banks, the taxpayer. And this just goes to show that the game's rigged, that when they socialize losses and they privatize gains. And the Federal Reserve is really not the friend of the public. They're a friend of the banks. And it's basically daylight robbery, what they're doing, what they've done. Full of Hope, thank you for your super chat. Says my daughter who lives in Rome was sad that she missed your visit. She can still repeat your intro verbatim since she was a teenager. That's nice. I didn't know she was in Rome. Indurama, thank you for your super chat. How do you think we'll get real PM price discovery with the central bank reserve acquisition, potential BRICS agreements versus paper price suppression? I think what will happen is that one day, um, yeah, one day it will end because there will be like a trigger. It will be like a little snowflake dropping and creating an avalanche. Right now, the paper game's still working, but the reason I think there will be some event is because they can only keep papering over the market for so long. Eventually, real physical demand will overwhelm the bullion banks. And yeah, we're getting closer to it. But when it's going to happen, I don't know. But if you're not in gold and silver and it happens, you'll never be able, you'll never make the yeah, you will never participate in the major, and I'm not even talking about getting rich or quick or anything. You will never participate, I think, in one of the biggest shifts, wealth transfers in history, because I think the whole financial system and the whole value system that we have is all based on an illusion. And yeah, and people are going to realize that real things like gold, silver, and other things as well should be much more valuable. So, yeah, unless you're in it, you're not going to participate. Uh, and that's why you have to be patient. Oh, Full of Hope says she works with the British Council. All right. Bit of coffee. Raimonda says, sorry I'm late, but I'm looking forward to another session for financial education. It's no problem, Raimundo. India owns a lot of gold and silver. Would the effects of crash be less hard here? Um, yeah, India does have like the central bank. They've got quite a bit of gold and silver, but yeah, more importantly, the Indian people have probably a lot of gold. So do the German people as well. So yeah, I yeah the yeah I think it will be less affected by the collapse of the dollar and yeah, well, collapse of fiat currencies. And it says, can they only manipulate the market due to the size of it? Silver market being smaller? Yeah, the silver market is a lot smaller, of course. Yeah, it's tiny, but it's highly leveraged as well. I think it's like 500 to 1 leveraged. So one day it will all like I said, it will happen one day, but it could be tomorrow. It could be in a month's time. It could be in a year's time. It's difficult to say. Zaki Forlan, no, I don't have any Bitcoin. No. Yeah, Rudy wants a tummy rub. Rudy, let me go get him so he can say hello. Come on, Pete, go say hello. Here he is. There you go. There you go. Good boy. Honor Camp, look forward to the first London Mint silver sovereign. Well, that's a strange name for a silver coin because a sovereign is really a gold coin. Um, yeah, but I don't know what the weight of a silver sovereign is going to be. Same weight as a gold sovereign, maybe. Uh, Abir Dixit, will this 50 basis point rate cut be harsh for economy in long term? Um, Usually it should help the economy, means more liquidity, but some people notice that when the Fed starts cutting rates, rate cut cycle, it means that we're approaching a recession. So, but it's not because of the rate cut, but because of yeah, the economy is not doing well. Put Rudy down. Go back on the sofa, Rudy. Long Beach Joe Jets. When do you when do you think we'll see the start of the fall fail in the US? Yeah, I mean, we've still got the elections, but yeah, things could get crazy. And then there's a book here which I've spoken about before, and it's this here. The Fourth Turning is Here by Neil Howe. He wrote The Fourth Turning with William, I think it's William Strauss. William Strauss passed away. They wrote it in the 90s. And yeah, we're in the winter of this cycle. And according to Neil Howe, things are not going to get better. And the last time there was a fourth turning was during the Great Depression and World War II. Prior to that was the Civil War. And prior to that was the Revolutionary War. So it's about every 80 to 100 years. And we are right in the middle of winter. So, yeah, things are gonna get crazy. And I think there's a lot of distractions. I think politics is a distraction, geopolitics, rumors of wars or wars. And I'm not saying these are not serious things, but I, I think you should try to ignore these and live your life and do the best you can, be as good as you can, and keep going and not let it scare you, because this has happened many times before and it's going to happen again 80 years from now or so. And we just have to try to position ourselves in yeah, as well as we can to keep going. Oh, he's right here now under my foot. Forbidden Planet says, my Shih Tzu lived to be 17. Wow, that's a good age. Billy the second, he was 14 and a half. And Billy the first, he lived to was 13 and a half. But 17 is a pretty long life for a Shih Tzu. Rudy's going to be two on the 1st of December. Echo Echo, is it too late for things to be fixed? Is the debt too big? Yeah, sorry, Echo Echo, to ruin your hope. It's too late. It's too late. Yeah, unfortunately, it's too late. Joachim, what's the chance gold will be illegal to hold by private entities? It depends on the country. I don't know where you are, but there is a form. I mean, it's happened before. Who knows? But even if it is, it's still a good place to be right now, because they're going, like here in the UK, they're going after people's capital gains. They're going after probably their pensions. Uh, haven't heard anything about gold. Evola sunglasses. Are you reading a good book? Well, I'm still. This is taking me a long time. I'm still reading it. The Count of Monte Cristo. I still have about a third of the book left to read. It's a good one. I mean, there's been movies and series about this, but the book is really good. And as I went to Rome as well, I had this book on my shelf and I hadn't read it. This is the I'm starting to read it now. It's the History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire by Edward Gibbon. It's like a classic. And the fourth turning as well. I'm trying to read that. Read a lot of books at the same time. And recently I read the Great Depression Diaries of Benjamin Roth. That's a really good one too. Echo says he's actually scared for the future. I don't think you should be scared. That's what they want you to be. So, yeah, don't be scared. Over here, they're going to mint silver coins for circulation currency. What would the purity be? Well, it would be 925 sterling. That's the best here in the UK would be 925. In the US, they probably mint 90%. But I bought this last year. It's a silver, it's a sixpence, and it's 925. So yeah, 925 sixpence. So they've minted it already. So there you go. Who knows? It might come back. We can only hope. Yeah, I bought this from the Royal Mint. So it's so struck in 925 sterling silver. This sixpence is a traditional gift often given and received at many of life's special occasions. So, and I think it's the same weight of the original sixpence that used to circulate. It's 3.35 grams. Yeah. Reverend Fry, yeah, 24 carat, yeah, 24 carat is not coinage, doesn't, yeah, it's a no-go. I think 22 karat gold is the finest gold coins there are. US used to be 90%, 22 karat is 0.9167. That was the sovereign. Andy, thank you for your super chat. Is there a chance they will revalue gold so that it will cover the US debt? They're already revaluing it, right? Gold is already being revalued. It's gone from $35 in 1971 to 2,650 now. It's going to keep getting revalued. Yes, we might see a massive spike if things get really out of hand, and that's how they'll do it. Yeah, revaluing gold and letting the price of gold go up, that's devaluation. That's a way to write off the debt. The debt becomes smaller because gold is money, is the ultimate measure. They're doing it everywhere, Andy, not just in the US, even in China and Russia. Marco Arostini, 1 year ago, I went all in with gold. They have 50% more, 50% more in terms of fiat currency. Yeah, it's gold is up almost 30% year to date. So yeah, you've done well. Good timing. Yeah, gold buffaloes are 24 karat, but they're not really good coins for circulation. Um, I have some gold buffaloes. I bought it like when they first came out in 2007. Carlos Garcia, what do you think about system is holding price? What do you think about system is holding price unaffordable? So the American dream is for rent. Why they why they won't let it collapse? Well, the system is set up, inflation always does that. It destroys the middle class. So it's not surprising. America, the UK, Europe, even Germany are becoming more and more like third world countries. I guess if the whole system collapses, the people in charge, they have a lot to lose. So they try to keep this thing going as long as possible. You can read the fourth turning is here. That's what he says in the book. You don't have to read the original one. So I would go for the latest one. The fourth turning is here. Hi, Richard King. Nice to see you here. Toonie Times. Gold buffalo coins are not coins. Yes, they're coins, but they're 24 carats. They wouldn't be any good to circulate. They're more like bull investment coins. Fuzzy Love, does this mean inflation has been 30%? Is that because gold has gone up 30%? Uh, Eventually, gold discounts monetary inflation. Yeah, inflation is the creation of currency and credit out of thin air. Inflation is not the CPI. Those are prices. So yeah, that's what it does. And it doesn't do it doesn't track the increase in money and credit uh, day by day. The authorities control the price of gold, and sometimes they let the steam blow off, and gold does what it's probably saying is that we're going to have more inflation of the money supply very soon. It's probably forecasting it. Do I vote in UK elections? No, I don't vote in any elections because if voting mattered, it would be illegal. So I don't waste my time with voting. I mean, some people like to vote. They think it makes a difference, and that's their prerogative. I don't think it does. I mean, yeah. Josh reported we see QE before the year is over. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, that's possible. Usually, if you're cutting rates, you shouldn't really be doing QT. They might stop the QE soon. The QT, excuse me. Echo Echo thinks most of the middle class is now being brought backwards towards working class. Christopher Clay, yeah, Rudy does have, we have a lot of pre-1920 uh, British coins. They're all 925, except for the pennies and the tuppence, yeah, threepence. No, pennies and tuppence. They're copper, of course. DRS, thank you for your super chat. All these books you have read, you learn the difference between a people, a person, and a citizen. Yeah, I mean, I have looked into common law. Yeah, and there's a big difference between a person is a legal entity. Citizen, I guess, is also a legal entity, and people is just like me here, Mario. And yeah, I know about that, the common law, and I mean, a surname is something that is relatively recent in history. People didn't used to have surnames. So yeah, the birth certificate, that's what gives you makes you a legal person. And that's how they get you in the system. And yeah, I'm aware of all that, but uh, the thing is so few people know that if you try to live outside our current system, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. So anyway, anonymous as slave name, yeah. Yeah, the in England you're a subject, not a citizen. That's right, you're subject of the monarch. Chris Tippin says, what miners do people like? Maybe I'd be better off with an ETF, or you could go into the ETF prospectus and see what they hold and pick and choose some of the miners. Abhir Dixit, why is Warren Buffett holding cash instead of gold? Um, I don't know. You should ask him. Well, probably because he's getting about 4 or 5% from the cash. He leaves a lot of the cash in short-term T-bills, and he thinks that's better than holding gold. He's not too keen on gold. He's not very friendly to gold. So, but he's lost about 25% this year on his cash because gold is up 30%. He might be getting 4 or 5% on these T-bills, but he's losing out. No, I don't care about the color of the sovereigns as long as they're sovereigns. Yeah, I have sovereigns that look different than others. It doesn't really matter. R. Elka says, thanks, Echo 64 this Sunday, 13th of October. You're welcome. Royalty companies, yeah, they're interesting as well. I think Franco-Nevada is the biggest, and you have EMX Royalty or EMX. This is not advice. I'm just telling you the ones I know. Uh, P.S. Thank you for your super chat. Isn't Buffett one of the Masons? I don't know if he's a Freemason. Don't know much. Who knows? His father knew was a sound money proponent, Howard Buffett. He said you couldn't have human freedom without gold redeemable money. So I don't think Warren Buffett thinks like his dad used to. Fuzzy Love, do I test my gold? No, because I buy it from reputable dealers that have been in business for like 40 years and I know them. So, uh, yeah, I don't really have to test it. Over here, will the US? Yeah, that's why you should use a reputable dealer. You don't really have to worry about testing your gold. Over here says, will the US print a new dollar bill and focus and force us to exchange our old currency before we go to a CBDC? Maybe. I mean, who knows? In the third world countries, they do that. I mean, they go from 1,000 back to one. Who knows? But I guess the new dollar bill is the $10 bill. What is the real inflation rate in the US and the UK? Um, you mean the rise in the CPI? Because real inflation is the growth in the money supply, M1 or M2. And it has slowed down a bit, but it's picking up again. But I would say the CPI in the UK is more like 4 or 5%, probably even more. I mean, you should check Shadow Stats, John Williams. He looks at how they used to calculate CPI back in the 80s. Yeah, it's a lot more. They're always tinkering with the numbers. No, Rudy has not dug up the dirty men's safe. He's a good boy. He knows that he shouldn't do that. He hasn't been digging much anymore. He used to dig a lot in the garden. Yeah, the banks, I think since the 80s, they got out of the gold business, Echo. They don't want to know. They're not real banks. And I said that earlier. We don't have real banks anymore. And that's why banks are, you can't trust them because they they lend out currency or money that they don't have. So when you put 100 pounds in the bank, they don't go and lend your 100 pounds if you put it on like a short-term deposit. No, they take your 100 pounds and leverage it as many times as they want. And they just lend money out of thin air. And that's why we have bank runs, because when people decide to take their money or cash out, it's not there. And if they try to sell the assets to cover you with your cash, everything implodes. And that's what keeps happening. And then the government has to step in and lend them hundreds of billions of pounds or trillions of dollars. And they put that onto the national debt. And yeah, that's why banks are just it's a horrible system. Banks used to be where you could, like Echo said, you could put your extra money, i.e., gold and silver, with them for safekeeping. And yes, they charge you something to safekeep it, or they could lend it out as well. If you said, "Oh, you can lend my money out for 3 months," and then you'd get it back plus some interest. But that doesn't happen anymore. Uh, they won't do that, Echo, because the authorities, the Bank of England, the regulators don't want banks doing that. At least here in the UK, but in countries like Switzerland, you can store it, safety deposit boxes. There are, I think, Metro Bank, um, they have safety deposit boxes. You'd have to check. But I still don't understand why you'd want to keep it with the banks because you can't trust them. Even if it's not on their balance sheet, if they're just safekeeping it for you, if there's a big crisis, they could close all the banks and you can't get your gold. Unfortunately, that's the way things are. Belly Man, thank you for your super chat. Thoughts on Trump's new gold and silver coins? His gold one is 3,500, but could be a good investment, especially if gold, for God forbid, something bad happens. I haven't seen these Trump gold and silver coins. Um, I I assume the gold one is an ounce, a troy ounce for 3,500. I wouldn't buy it. Why pay the premium? No, I wouldn't buy it, and I haven't seen them, so I don't really care who's on the coin, as long as I get the best deal. And here in the UK, of course, I try to stick to coins of the realm because of capital gains tax. But I would definitely not pay 3,500 for an ounce of gold in the US. I'd stick to, I think, Miles Franklin for normal 1 ounce gold coins. The premium is like 2.5 to 3%. 3,500 seems a bit steep, and I don't think it's a good investment. Paul Ween says 3.5 thousand dollars cheap in Canada. Oh yeah, the Canadian dollar is in Canadian dollars. I think the price of gold is around 3,500, and in Aussie dollar, it's almost at 4,000. Chad Michael says you choose what money you want to use and save, not anyone else. Things have been this way for a long time. I agree, but many people don't know that. They think that money is what is that piece of paper or the stuff that is in the bank. So they're not as enlightened as you are. Dillwyn Roberts, at what price do you stop buying precious metals? I will never no, I will never stop because they're gonna keep inflating it. I mean, that's not the way to look at it. At what price do you still, why you're gonna keep fiat currency? And because we know fiat currencies always go to zero eventually, paper money. So I don't see, yeah. Maybe if they let gold go to, I don't know, maybe if they come out and say gold is going to be revalued and we're going to back our currency with gold and it's going to be redeemable in gold coins, then yes, I'd probably stop buying it, but I don't see them doing that. So yeah, yeah, I know it's getting harder and harder, but once in a while, if you have enough, or if I have enough, I'll do it. We got a couple of minutes. Echo Echo says I bought sovereigns for 395 in February, and I thought that was high, and now it's a lot higher. Yeah, he says just keeps going up. Well, it's the pound that keeps going down, really. Yeah, and the same thing for property. Property prices are not rising. It's the pound that's going down. Houses are still the same. Dutch Libertarian, do you use something like Kinesis money? No, I don't use Kinesis money. Uh, and I don't have any opinion on Kinesis. I've never really got involved with Kinesis. I have the Glint Pay app. So the Glint app allows you to store your gold. You send them the fiat currency, and then you buy the gold, and they store it in Switzerland, and they provide you with the MasterCard, and you can use your Glint card to pay with gold. They've also got euros, pounds, and dollar facility, but Kinesis, I have no clue, and I can't tell you about Kinesis. Well, Toonie Time says silver should be 250 an ounce. Well, let's say 2650 divided by 15. We should be around 170, the price of silver, if we got back to 15 to 1. Paul Sag Sagbakken, the guy from Norway who left Norway. What's your thoughts on Israel and how they try to limit gold holdings? Yeah, I spoke about that a few weeks ago. Yeah, they're Israel's probably in financial straits, so they want to stop people from jumping out of their shekel. So that's what they're probably doing. But from what Rafi has told me in the past, gold and silver are not really big in Israel, but maybe for the very wealthy Israelis, there was a problem. Yeah, Dutch Libertarian, I'm much more familiar with Glint because they contacted me like back in 2018, and they've been like an affiliate of mine. So if anyone else is interested, the details for Glint are below in the description of all my videos. Raymondo, they have posted their accounts. Uh, Glint, you can check on the in company's house. So it's all been sorted. They're not in trouble. Um, okay. Yeah, it's time to go. We've been here for over an hour, so I'm gonna thank all of you. And it was really nice chatting with everyone. And thanks for your interest in the channel. And if there's any of you out there who haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do if you enjoy the channel. So I'll talk to you soon, guys. Take care. Bye.